The door that closed, the heart that opened. My name is Amanda, and this is the story of the hardest day of my life, of the pain that tore my heart apart, and of how even the strongest family bonds can crack, though not always forever. I grew up in a small house on the edge of town, where the air always smelled like my mom's pies and my dad's tobacco. When I was 9, my mom died in a car accident, and from that moment on, my dad became my entire world. He was strict, sometimes harsh, but I believed it was only because he couldn't allow himself to be weak. It was just the two of us, two wounded souls holding onto each other the best we could. But when I turned 19, things began to change. He disapproved of my choices, my friends, my boyfriend Noah, my dream of moving to another city. He kept saying I was all he had left, yet acted as if he wanted to lock me away in a golden cage. Everything fell apart one evening. I came home later than promised. He was waiting in the hallway, the look on his face heavy like storm cloud. "Where were you?" he asked in that low tone that always came before an argument. "At No's. We were just talking." I lost track of time. "At No's," he repeated sharply, as if the name itself poisoned his mouth. "I told you not to see him." "But why? He's done nothing wrong. He's going to take you away from me," he shouted, not in anger, but in raw desperation I'd never heard before. I reached out to him. "Dad, I love you. But I have a right to my own life." If I had known those words would trigger everything, I would have swallowed them. But it was too late. "You want your own life?" he said, his voice trembling. "Then get out. Get out of my house. Right now." My breath caught. "Dad, what?" "Go," he yelled. "If I mean nothing to you, if you choose someone else over your own father, then you don't belong here." His hand pointed to the door. Time stopped. I heard nothing but my own heartbeat. Cold washed over me, but his eyes weren't angry. They were full of hurt so deep it felt ancient. I packed a few things with shaking hands. When I walked past him, I tried to say something, anything, but all I managed was a whisper. "I never wanted this, Dad." He turned away from me, and the door closed behind me. That night, I stayed with Noah. I spent hours crying on the floor while he tried to comfort me. But nothing could ease the pain of being turned away from the only home I had ever known. For days I tried calling my dad. He didn't answer. Not a word. Eventually, I gave up. And then, weeks later, a quiet knock on my dorm room door. I opened it. It was him. He looked older, tired, defeated. In his hands was my old favorite mug, the cracked one I used as a kid for hot chocolate. "Amanda," he whispered. "Sweetheart, I made a terrible mistake." I froze. I had waited so long to hear those words. "I was scared of losing you," he said. "Scared of being alone. And instead of talking to you, I did the one thing no father should ever do. I pushed you away." He lowered his eyes. "I'm so sorry." I touched his hand. "Dad, I will always be your daughter. But I need my own life." He nodded, slowly. "I know. And I want to be part of it, if you'll let me. Not in control. Just there. I hugged him. Really hugged him. For the first time in years. And in that moment, I realized something. Sometimes people hurt us not because they don't love us, but because they love us too much and don't know how to let go. Months passed. Our relationship slowly healed, stitch by fragile stitch. We saw each other every week. We talked. We listened. We rebuilt trust. But peace never lasts forever. One autumn evening, I went to his house and found the door slightly open. Inside, silence. My dad sat at the kitchen table, pale, drained, his hands trembling. "Dad? What's going on?" He lifted his head, and I knew. "I went to the doctor," he said quietly. "It's my heart." A chill ran through me. "What did they say?" He exhaled shakily. "They gave me a year. Maybe more if I change everything. But, you know me. I never took care of myself." My world tilted. I sat beside him and held his cold hand. "You're going to get treatment, right? Please tell me you will." He gave a sad, crooked smile. "I'm saying this because you deserve to know. Years of stress, working non-stop, bottling up everything. Even losing your mother. And then almost losing you. I broke myself, Amanda." He looked away. "And I might have broken you too." My eyes filled with tears, but I blinked them back. "We're going to get through this together," I said. "You're not alone anymore." After that day, I helped him with everything: doctor visits, medication, healthy meals. I became his anchor. But one evening, everything changed again. Noah called. "We need to talk." His voice was strange, distant, strained. When he came over, he sat stiffly on the edge of the couch. "You've changed," he said. "And that's not bad. But you're always with your dad. You don't sleep. You don't rest. You don't have a life of your own anymore." I feel secondary. My chest tightened. "So what are you saying?" "I think we should take a break." He stood, touched my cheek gently, and left. I sat in the dark, broken in a way even my father's rejection hadn't broken me. Because this time, I wasn't pushed away. I was left behind. The next day, Dad asked what was wrong. Noah left. A pause. Then softly, "Because of me?" I wanted to say no, but he knew. He lowered his head. "I've always made your life harder. With my rules, my fears, and now this illness. You deserve more." I rested my head on his shoulder. "I'm here because I want to be. You're my dad. My only family." He wrapped a trembling arm around me. "I'm just afraid of losing you again." "You won't," I whispered. "We'll find balance. Somehow." And for the first time in a long time, I believed it. 3 weeks passed. 3 long weeks without Noah. I cared for Dad, kept busy, stayed strong. But inside, something hollowed out, as if a flame inside me had burned low. Then one cold morning, as I walked home from the store with Dad's medications, I heard a voice behind me. "Amanda?" I froze. I turned. Noah. His hair messy from the wind, eyes tired and sad, as if sleepless nights had carved shadows beneath them. We stared at each other for a long moment. "You look thinner," he said softly. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I lied. He took a slow breath. "I came to apologize." My heart skipped. "For what?" "For leaving you when you were at your lowest," he said. "I thought you were pushing me away. I thought I was losing you. So I ran. Instead of staying, I stayed silent. I saw you with your dad," he continued. "In the park. You were holding his arm and he was laughing. And I realized, he needs you. And you need him. And I shouldn't have made you choose." He stepped closer. "I want to be with you, Amanda. Not instead of your father. With both of you. If you'll let me come back." My throat tightened. "I never stopped loving you," I whispered. "I was just afraid you couldn't handle my reality." He smiled, sad, but warm. "Let's try again. Together." When he hugged me, the world finally felt whole again. We went to my dad's house together. Dad looked startled at first, but Noah stepped up, shook his hand, and said, "I love your daughter. And I won't let her go through anything alone ever again." Dad smiled, a real smile. "Then come in. I made soup. And she needs it." We all laughed. For the first time, like a family. Life wouldn't be easy. Dad was still sick. I still had fears. Noah still had doubts. But we were together. And that was victory enough.